Okay, welcome back to the Bootleg Corner movie viewers, and this time we'll be going in the direction of Obsession, the hottest horror movie out this year. And everyone who has seen it has been raving about it, and it's time for me to tell you what my thoughts are, how I saw it, and my conclusions on everything that I saw in that movie. And this one follows a small group of friends who have some weird secrets bubbling beneath the surface of their friendship. Now, Bia is in love with Nikki, but Ayan and Nikki have been sleeping together on and off for the past 2 years. Meanwhile, Sarah, on the other hand, is also in love with Bia, but only Nikki and Ayan have acted on their attraction toward each other within this friend group. So there's like a little mini triangle going on within this group where the only two people who have acted on their attraction toward each other are Ayan and Nikki. Now Bia makes a wish for Nikki to love him over everything else. Now this wish stripped her of her autonomy and turned her into a vessel for something that simply loved him, and just trapped her in the bare recesses of her mind for like the entirety of this movie up until the end, when she found some respite after Bia killed himself, breaking the wish. Now one thing that was funny to me was people were asking who was the real villain in this movie. I thought that was like pretty clear. The guy who went above and beyond, made something crazy, did something crazy to someone who was supposedly his friend prior to even being his lover. That is, if she would have been his lover at any moment in this movie, but he wasn't trending towards that line. So like when it came online, we were now talking about who the real monster in the movie. I thought that was like very clear. This guy went on to make a crazy wish that flipped over his friend's personality and just made her into something she was not. And he was comfortable living that dream, even when in the early stages of the relationship, he found out that the real Nikki was buried beneath whatever this creature he had called forth was. And if this was a normal thinking, rational human being, the first thing he would have done would have been to go and even look for how to cancel the wish or how to go and buy another make a wish sticker. But he was so comfortable in living in this horror that looked like love to him that he didn't even consider cancelling or remaking the wish up until the ending of the movie. So when I see people talking about who the real monster was, like, it is clearly this guy. Like there is no ambiguity, there is no confusion. The writer, the scenes, the acting, everything made it clear that Bia was the monster all along. I don't know why there's like any need to even discuss it. To me, it's cut and dry. There's no need to even look at. There's nothing beneath the surface that you can say, okay, there is a reason or something. Like Bia is clearly the monster in this movie, and anyone who doesn't think so, I think you need to review your media literacy card or something, because he was obviously and quite literally the villain of this movie. Now, in the totality of this one, I find the story to be very tight, to be very strictly woven around these characters. The story did not leave any chance for ambiguity, did not leave any scenes to mess around. It went straight to the meat of the matter. There was an air of seriousness. The movie took itself seriously and delivered its payload like to the fullest of its abilities. Plot, believability, all those things you want in a movie. And the movie was like 700k, so like it's not even like it's a big budget movie. But barring all that, if you told this movie was made for whatever amount of money, you would believe it, because everything, the plot, the setting, believability, characters, the way they moved, the way they acted, showed intention, showed mannerism, they showed poise in every scene in this movie. The story was woven tightly around these characters. They did not leave any chance to do something stupid. There were no distractions, basically. It was woven very tightly around these characters, and I think that was one of the best things I enjoyed about this movie. There was no room for foolishness, if that's the word I'm going to use. There was no room to deviate away from the storyline to go somewhere that did not matter. They went straight to the point and delivered on their period, like I said earlier, and to me that just is fantastic. You want to watch a movie like this because it grips you from the beginning. There's no chance to look away, there's no chance to take a break. You want to see how this thing will conclude. You want to see what these characters are going to do. And once a movie can do that, considering its budget, I mean, come on, what are we saying? There is nothing else you want. There's nothing else you're asking for. And again, this is a horror movie. We didn't really even lean on the fantastical element. It dealt more on behavioral changes and maybe psychological elements. There was no real special effects, if that's what I'm going to use. There were no real special effects, there were no real ghosts or no real makeup or something. It's just behavioral changes, psychological changes that you can see. You can feel the horror of someone trapped in the recesses of our own mind, and there's something else who has taken over our own body and has been performing sexual acts with a guy which he doesn't even see that way. So I think looking at it from Nikki's perspective, it makes the whole situation even crazier, because this is a guy she kind of knew had feelings for her, because after all, she asked him prior to him making that wish outside the house. But now he has gone to do something crazy, and she's waking up in spots. She cannot even maintain control of her own body again. So I think seeing it from Nikki's perspective makes it a whole lot worse. Her body has been taken over by something she cannot define or defeat. And she's seeing this guy comfortable with it. And even in that moment when the entity, whatever possessed Nikki, was sleeping, when she told him that like she didn't like this, and even instead of the guy to at least to even acknowledge her feelings and even try to seek for a solution, all BS said was like, he's being with me so bad. Now this is someone who she has supposedly considered her friend for maybe a year or two, or depending on how long they have been friends for, and he's comfortable with doing this to you and knowing that you are not comfortable with it, but simply because it's his preferred version of the future, he is totally okay with you being trapped in your own body and just creating a relationship out of thin air for nothing. So like I said, the totality of this one, the script, the acting, the character, the behavioral changes, the characters themselves, the story felt tightly woven around them, and I really like that. Now for Bear himself, like I said earlier, it was pretty obvious that he was the main villain and the main monster in this movie. But his character design, his character analysis, I would say he was a mental midget, someone who didn't want himself out there, who didn't really want to do things, who preferred to take the easy way out, him chickening out of asking Nikki out multiple times shows that. And when the wish finally comes true, and like time for him to rectify things or time for him to change things, like he can't really, he's not like, because he thinks this is his ideal relationship, he's comfortable living in this horror, and to him it's not really a horror because this is his dream. Nikki loving him above everything else. And even when Ian suggests that maybe don't bring Nikki to games night and all that stuff, because he's too much of a mental midget to to take charge of his own life, basically he allows this entity that has taken over Nikki's body to basically push him around and control the status quo of their relationship. Like I said, mental midget all the time, all the warning signs Nikki showed. And to show how much of a monster he is, when Nikki was doing all these crazy things, like I said earlier, if this was a normal rational person, when you've made a wish like this that isn't going according to plan, even if some parts of it are going according to plan, when most of the other parts aren't going according to plan, the immediate thing anybody with rational sense would have done would have gone back to that store to buy another wish and wish for something else. That would have been the next line of action for a normal thinking person who wasn't thinking with his dick or something. But him, because this was his wish come true, basically, even with all the scary and horrifying parts, this was basically all he wanted. And he was too much of an idiot, basically. This kind of guy you don't want around, because he's the kind of guy to mess things up and just he has no sense of responsibility for anything. So like I said, the normal guy would have gone back to that store at the first sound of alarm and tried to rectify things, even if we know at the end of the movie that it wouldn't work since it was only one wish per person. So it would have been for a normal person, like I've been saying earlier, would have gone back to the store, tried to buy another wish. But he waited up until the end where things were completely out of hand and things had gone incredibly left, to show you how much of a selfish, whiny, non-responsibility taking mental midget he is. And like I said earlier, there is no question as to who the monster of this movie is. And if they could put his character in all the games and all the Fortnite and stuff, I'm pretty sure if he had like maybe some more fantastical elements, he would have been the one who would have been advertising of the monster in this movie. But that's because Nikki's character is the one who actually did the horrific act, even though she wasn't in control of her own body, so she's obviously the one everyone would think is the monster. But like I've been saying earlier, it's clear, it's very obvious, there's nothing ambiguous, there's nothing strange, there's nothing hidden. That Bear is the real monster in this movie. And again, the character, the guy who played Bear, fantastic acting, delivered his script, delivered his character, his personality, everything to the fullest of his abilities, delivered the payload and walked away like as a made man. When a character like this can make you feel things and make you feel angry about his actions, I think that's one of the best things you can do. When you can evoke emotions in the viewers to make them feel something, to make them hate your character, basically. And I think I disliked his character a lot while watching this movie. I think it was a fantastic job by him. As I said earlier, this was a strange friend group because there were little secrets bubbling beneath the surface, which the main character and Sarah herself did not know up until the moment when BM made that fatal wish. But up until that point, he had been telling Ian about wanting to be with Nikki, wanting to ask her out and all that stuff, and how he's in love with her. And Ian had been encouraging this guy, telling him to shoot his shot and all that stuff. Meanwhile, Ian had been sleeping with her for 2 years. If these two had had a sexual relationship for 2 years, why was Ian now encouraging this malarkey? I mean, what kind of, that's why I said the friendship group is not as woven tightly as they made it seem. And that's one of the, like, it showed in their actions, like, throughout the entirety of this movie. These guys were not really friends like the way we thought they were. Because if they were really friends, they wouldn't do the things they did to each other. Your guy has been telling you he's in love with this girl, going to ask out and all that stuff. You've been encouraging him to muster up the courage. Meanwhile, you and the person he's talking about have had a secret sexual relationship for 2 years and you didn't find any time to tell him that, oh, me and this girl, we've been working together for a while. So like I said, the friendship group is not really balanced. It's just a friendship, most likely in name only. There is no real substance towards the friendship. And meanwhile, Sarah on the other hand has been pining for beer for a while, and I think Ian also knows it. So Ian is like the only one in this group who has full knowledge of the friendship dynamics that are actually like the actual feelings of these people who claim to be friends. He knows beer wants Nikki. He knows Nikki doesn't really like beer like that. He also knows that Sarah wants beer. So it's like it's just a funny dynamic basically between these 4 people who are supposed to be friends. Meanwhile, they have different perceptions of their friendship dynamics towards each other. Now for Sarah, pining over Ian and all that stuff to show how much of a weird friend she was, when she now saw that okay, Nikki and Beer are together, even if she doesn't understand why. Next thing she goes, okay, she meets Beer in the car to tell him about the latest admission letter she got. And she's now suggested they create a new triangle where Beer now cheats on Nikki with her. Now there was already a previous triangle of Ian, Beer and Nikki having sexual relationship. Now she wants to create a new triangle with her having a relationship with Beer while he's also in a relationship with Nikki. So that's why I say this friend group, their real perception of their friendship towards each other doesn't match what's supposed to look like. There are so many secrets and so many hidden agendas bubbling beneath everything. And the way the story was written and the way their characters performed, like I said, I've been saying previously, it matched up to what I wanted to see. Now on the plot, the acting itself, there was one goosebump moment for Misha, and it was this scene right here, when Nikki just pulled back and just like her voice now changed and all that stuff. Like I felt, and it happened to me with Weapons too. In the entirety of a horror movie like this, there's always supposed to be at least 1 or 2 or multiple, depending on how the movie is, of a goosebumps moments where you feel that chill in your heart, when you're like, the pulse in your skin rise up and you know that like, okay, now they are serious. And I think it was this scene here when Nikki just pulled back and her voice changed and all that stuff. Like I felt like this was the moment where the movie sold itself to me basically. The movie had been performing well, had been okay, good, great, all that stuff. But it was in this particular moment like I felt the chill in my skin. I said, okay, now they are serious. Like now they are serious. Like I don't know why I reacted to that scene in the way I did, but like it was just that moment I felt the goosebumps and I said, okay, this has gone from a great movie to like an amazing, serious top tier movie. Now going back to Sarah and Beer meeting in the car, I think it was quite obvious what the setup was when Nikki came and just killed her in that moment. But I think even if I was expecting it to happen, the way it happened still, like it's delivered what you were supposed to deliver basically. And it was at this point now, Beer now realized the crazy journey he had been on and the crazy things he had put himself through and the crazy thing he had crystallized and started. I finally got the bright idea that had been in the front of everyone's mind in this movie to go and buy another wish. Going back to the shop, the owner, the new guy there, jacking him around, playing with him and telling him that all the wishes are finished. I think that was a really nice twist for this guy because he deserved it. He deserved to have his emotions played around the way he had played with the emotions of another person for the entirety of this movie. But he finally got another wish and found out I couldn't really do anything with it because there was one wish per person. So he now goes to Ian to help him make another wish. And as we've established as we're watching this movie, we realize that these people are not really friends, because if they were friends, Ian wouldn't treat him the way he treated him. Ian would have let him know ahead of time that this was what was happening and all that stuff. And Beer too, he would have behaved differently if all these people were really his friends. And he doesn't even tell Ian that Sarah has been killed. He just runs in there selfish, still thinking of his own situation. The thing he created basically, because that was not really Nikki, I just helped him kill one of their friends, help dispose of the body, and the only thing he's thinking about now is his own situation, trying to break the wish that he has made. And Ian, why would you believe someone rushing into your house just to tell you that if you break this, you're going to get a wish and that wish will come true? Even if the guy is covered in blood, you didn't even tell Ian what had happened. Maybe Ian was after, maybe it was an accident or something. And the guy was acting crazy. Throughout, Ian looked at the entire relationship with Nikki as something like some manic episode basically. And now the same guy who you think is office rocker along with his new girlfriend who has started loving him out of nowhere is now in your house giving you a stick to break that if you break it, all your wishes are going to come true. I mean, everyone will be skeptical. Everyone, even if when Beer was telling him that it was truly stick that Nikki started loving him. Like, why would you believe that? Even if you know that the relationship is a bit strange, but like stranger things have happened before and all that stuff. So why would you believe that? Ian takes it and made it the only rational wish anyone who has one wish in the world would have made. Wished for $1 billion, and I think in that moment I liked Ian more than any other moment in this movie. Because if you had only one wish, I mean, come on, you're going to wish for serious money. Ian wasn't even modest in his wishes. Asked for $1 billion and the money dropped instantly, and we now realized that Ian now realized that like this is real. Like it's extremely real. Now Bear goes back home, and once again he's been confronted with the reality of his own wishes. The thing he created, the monster he comforts, is sitting in the body of the girl he loves, and even at that, he doesn't still have the guts to go out the easy way. Took a gun, wanted to shoot himself. Like I said, this is a guy, mental midget, takes no responsibility for anything. But again, tried to shoot himself, not even tried, made an attempt to shoot himself in the mouth and thought it basically. And it reminded me of Aspace in Preacher. Anyone who has read the Preacher comics, you know what Aspace looked like after he tried to put a shotgun to his head like his friend did. But instead of aiming it to his head, he aimed it to his mouth, and the only thing he lost was like the totality of his face, most likely. So if he hadn't aimed the gun well and he had shot, the same thing that happened to Aspace would have happened to him. But then he took the easy way out, took the drugs that his cat took, and just basically self-medicated himself to death. And knowing what we know, that him dying will break because it was very much expected. And Ian coming over to come and celebrate his $1 billion bounty, and another friend ends up dead. And all this, every death in this movie can be traced back, maybe apart from the cat, I think. Or maybe he shouldn't have even left his drugs where the cat would have seen it. Maybe we can blame Deer too for negligence or something. It's almost every death. So let's just say every death in this movie can be traced back to Bear because of his actions, directly or indirectly. So Ian dies, and next thing we know, Bear is on the butcher's table too. He's at the Reaper's gate because he has already taken drugs that will kill him. And throughout this movie, I think, as the movie ended and Nikki emerged again from the depths or from the gates of hell, wherever she had been trapped in the darkest places of her own mind, watching all these things unfold, I think I was happy for her. Not even I think, I know I was happy for her, because she was the only one, not really the only one, but she was the person out of everyone in this movie who deserved the most to survive. So in the totality of my experience of this movie, I think this was a serious watch. Small budget, like I said earlier, but big dreams, big capabilities, big actions, big statements. Everything was bigger than it was supposed to be. He had a golden target basically, and they marched towards that with precision. There were no distractions, there were no diversions. They had a single goal and they went towards it with precision and achieved it with so much aplomb. Like, I'm speaking so many words, but like I say all that to say, like, I'm waiting for Obsession right now. I think I can give that a 10 over 10. I think this is my first 10 of the year, right? So I think Obsession, I think I can give that a 10. Because it was almost basically, not almost, I'm saying it's a 10, that means it's flawless. A movie which delivered on its premise with such poise, with such seriousness, with such decisiveness. So Obsession, I think that was an easy 10 for me. I think everything in this movie made me love it. Characters, believability, the plot, the action, the choices of the characters. And I said before, horror movies, I don't really like horror movies a lot of the time because the actions aren't logical. But in this one, they showed us the logic gates of these people basically, and we could rationalize it and see why these decisions made sense in their heads at multiple points in time. So I think that's a wrap for me. Obsession is my standout movie so far this year. It's August right now, so like 7 or 8 months. And Obsession is standout movie so far this year, depending on what comes out or what I see later. But these are my thoughts, these are my words, and these are my feelings as of right now. If my thoughts will change later in the future when I watch it again, who knows. But this is still the bootleg on the bootleg corner. Don't forget to like, to share, to subscribe. Give me your thoughts on all that stuff in the comment section. Keep it locked in, and I'll be back.